Ladies and gentlemen, hello. I wasn't expecting to have to explain my outfit. The jacket is my own. The culturally inappropriate headgear is Grace's. So I hope I've not caused any offence at all. Anyway, my name is Seamus. Dave and Grace have asked me to introduce the speeches, which is an enormous privilege for me. It's a great day. I'm going to introduce you to a giant of a man in a minute, but for a second I just wanted to say on behalf of my own family in the room and afar, and my friends that are here and afar, your generosity in welcoming us into Ireland and all of its wonderful stuff has been phenomenal. And we've been here several times now as a family, and Liam, Maggie, William and Grace have become great friends of ours, and we're enormously excited for the future. So thank you very much indeed for having us. So now I need to hand you over to a giant of a man. I'm going to leave you to this because I reckon this is probably quite hard. And I wish you well. Everybody, hands together. Liam Madigan.
I will, yeah. Now, thank you all very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know me, I am Liam, the bride's dad. No, I better if I put on my glasses, I think. See better. Right, I would like to welcome you all here today and thank you for joining us and for making this a very special day. I would like to thank the Madigans, the Lynches and the Kidners, as well as all our friends which have joined us in celebrating today. I would especially like to thank those who have travelled long distances. We have people from as far as Australia, Singapore, San Francisco, and I think France. And we have our neighbours in the UK, both up north in Edinburgh and down south in Bournemouth. That's where our new extended family is from. Now, while on our new family, I would like to welcome Debbie and Bernard into the Madigans and thank them for taking Grace in as one of their own, with their traditional roast, Sunday roast, and their barbecues, and most importantly, being there for Grace when needed. Now, I would like to just take this opportunity to thank my wife, Margaret, on raising such a wonderful daughter and how beautiful she's looking. And really, I would like to thank her for everything. Please raise your glasses to the mother of the bride. Now, folks, it's time to talk about my daughter. Can you all hear me down the back there, yeah? You can all hear me? Good. Now it's time to talk about my daughter. Before I tell you some old stories, I would like to tell my daughter Grace how proud I am of her and how beautiful she is looking, a stunning bride. Now, as I have the microphone and can't be interrupted, let me tell you a little story from Grace's youth. At a very young age of 3, we had thought we had Grace sussed in her career choice, but we thought she was going to be a magician. She loved to drink from a proper glass, not a plastic glass. You know, like most children will drink from a plastic glass. But she would drink all her juices or milk, but was able to bite a piece of the glass off and hold it in her mouth without cutting herself. When she was corrected and told of the dangers of broken glass, she would say, and she would stamp her feet, and she'd say, "Mom says it's not good enough." She grew out of it, and thank God, and look at us today, all grown up. And now for the groom. Dave, welcome to our family. The day you asked me for my blessing, it made me an extremely happy man, both knowing my daughter had found a live partner and a husband to be, and knowing he was a respectful and thoughtful man was the cherry on top. Now, the first news we heard of Dave was some guy who would drive for hours to collect Grace in the outback in Australia and to bring her into Darwin for a weekend away. Anyway. Anyway, it didn't take long for this to blossom and for your journey to bring you to Lisgould to meet the in-laws and sweeten up Maggie. Over the last 7 years I've gotten to know Dave. I would like to tell you how happy I am to call you my son-in-law. And you have married my daughter. Now, just to give my daughter and son-in-law some advice, which has seen me live my 61 years and 36 years of marriage happily. Right? Phone. It's short. Phone each other often, even if for no particular reason, other than to say I love you, and communicate everything to each other. Finally, Dave, this is one for you. You are wrong. Just accept it. It saves a lot. Now, before we, just one other thing, I would like to thank my brother Mike. He's over there. Mike is Grace's godfather, and I believe he's very generously paying for all this for today. Now, can I ask...
Thank you.
Mike, thank you again. Now, can I ask everybody to stand and raise your glass to Grace and Dave and a happy marriage. Cheers. Cheers. Now I'll give you back to James. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Liam Madigan. How good was that? There's lots of people that probably won't understand what enormous pressure that actually is, and so again, Liam Madigan, fantastic, well done to you. So the next guy, I've known my brother for almost every minute of his life, and I can remember vividly being 18 months old and thinking, how long is he staying? I felt, to be honest with you, My mum will agree. That me and mum and dad, we had a really good thing going. And this just fucked everything up. Anyway, he stayed. And you can imagine, I was thrilled when he went travelling. And over the moon when he didn't come back for 8 years. But he did come back. And he came back with grace. And that's why we're here. And actually, for a minute, if you didn't know it already, we are, as a family, enormously proud of you and everything that you've done. Even though cricket's not a real sport, but we are enormously proud of you, and if there is a moment for me to say how proud I am of you, this is it. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for David Aaron Kidner!
Thank you, James. I'd just like to start by thanking my brand new daddy for his kind words and good wishes, and I feel honoured that you've welcomed me into your family. Before I get started, can you all make sure that your glasses are fully charged and ready for some toasts? At this point, I'd like to remind the English contingent that if you want to make it to the finish line of the early hours of tomorrow, then treat this as a marathon and not a sprint. Just saying. You. So welcome everyone. On behalf of my wife and I, we would like to thank everyone for coming today. Everyone has travelled in some way or another to be here and share our special day with us, and delighted to see you all. A special thank you goes out to those of you who have travelled a greater number of miles to be here today. It really is quite humbling to realise you have friends and family that care so much and are willing to travel all that distance to share your special day. Thank you for your cards, kind thoughts and gifts. They're greatly appreciated. Unfortunately, there are a few people who couldn't make it here today, but one person in particular, and that's Grandma Kidner. We really wish she could have made it, but hopefully she is watching her live stream at home with her fully charged glass. Toasting away with us. So it would mean a lot to us if you would all join us in a toast for Grandma Kidner and to absent friends and family. So we've been planning this wedding for over a year now. Well, I say we. Grace has done all the work and Margaret and Liam have helped out. I just agreed to sort out the weather. And what a good job I did of that. They say you don't marry the one you can live with, you marry the person you can't live without, which is absolutely true with Grace. While I was looking forward to preparing myself for today, I really wasn't prepared enough for when I saw Grace walking down the aisle. And what can I say? She just looked $1 million. I was overwhelmed to say the least at how beautiful she looked. But I should be used to it by now, because Grace always dresses to kill. It's just unfortunate she cooks the same way. Although I shouldn't have a go at her cooking, she made me a lovely meal just before we came out here. Only slightly burning it, but it was a tasty salad. To be honest, her cooking skills have come on leaps and bounds. It's just the driving next and with her. Sorry, that's all good. Sorry. Now I'm going to get into the thank yous, and I'm going to start with our parents, and I'll start with you, Liam and Margaret. From the very first day, you've been the most amazing, caring and generous people I have ever met, and have made me feel so welcome. The only time I've ever felt a little uneasy is when Liam's gun collection came out and there was 0 deer in sight. But thankfully it was out of season to shoot Englishmen, so I lived to fight another day, and here we are now. In all honesty, we'd like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all you have done for us over the years. And I hope you'll be as happy to have me as your son-in-law as I am to have you guys as my parents-in-law. And I just want to reassure you that I love Grace and I'll do everything in my power to make sure she's as happy for the rest of her life as I know she is today. And I truly promise, I'll get to work on those grandchildren as soon as possible. Now for my mum and dad, Debbie and Burton. You've been the most amazing parents a boy could wish for. You've been there for me over the years through good times and the bad. You really do deserve a medal for endurance. So, you've always made sure all of your children got everything we ever needed. And speaking of your children, you should be proud of yourselves. Starting with your boys, first you had James, the trial run. And then you perfected the boys with me, the legend, the finished article. And again with your girls, first you had Lucy, another trial. And then you had Josie, a pet perfection again. I'm absolutely joking, Lucy. I'm deadly serious, James. Serious. Or Seamus, as I should call him now. We would like to thank you again for all you've done for us over the years and welcoming Grace into the Kidner household, and for all the Sunday roasts and always keeping Grace's Prosecco glass top right up. So could you please all join me in a toast to our parents? Calm down. Noise, isn't it? I would like to thank the bridesmaids, Elaine, Caitlin and Kate, for all their help towards today. You all look absolutely stunning, as I'm sure everyone will agree. Throughout the build-up to the wedding, all of them have helped in some way, be it organising the hen party, which I might add, Grace said probably about 1,000 times the best weekend of her life. Bit worried this might not top it. To putting up with all of her phone calls, giving her advice and support, and trying on dresses and helping with the running of today. It all adds up to a great deal, so thank you for all your hard work. So could I please have a toast to the bridesmaids? Getting on the water now. I should also thank Mr. Alan Cassidy for getting the bridesmaids here safe and sound, and thank him in advance for his performance of the Rattling Bog he's doing at 3 a.m. Make sure you don't miss it, people, it's going to be a belter. A big thanks also goes to Brett and Adam, our ushers. Unfortunately, Brett wasn't able to attend my stag do due to living in Australia. But on my many stints down under, he has been an absolute legend, a brother from another mother, and unfortunately for him, he's stuck with me now. But Adam, on the other hand, he was there with bells on, and I gave him the job of making sure I was sober enough to be allowed on the plane to come to Ireland on my stag do. Well, what a mistake that turned out to be. Not only did he fail that job, but he almost got Buzz Lightyear banned from Southampton Airport, all within the first hour. So thank you for feeding me those 2 litres of 9% tramp cider. Much appreciated. And thank you both for making sure that today has run smoothly. Also, a big thank you goes out to my nephew and Grace's godson, Evan, for doing such a great job looking after our rings. Well done. Adam would have had the job, but I needed someone more responsible and reliable. So thank you, Evan. Age 6. Thank you as well to William and Josie for their readings during the ceremony. It really meant a lot to us that you agreed to do this, and it will be a happy memory for the both of us. So thank you. So now I'd like to say a few words about the star of the show and my wife, Grace. Doesn't she look incredible today? Yeah. You look absolutely gorgeous, and I feel so lucky to be married to you. Thank you for making me the happiest man in the world. You are my soulmate and my best friend, and without doubt the most caring and selfless person I know. I really do thank my lucky stars for that night 7-8 years ago when I bumped into you in Monsoon's nightclub in Darwin. Here we go. I won't even repeat the first words I uttered to her, but people who know me will confirm that I'm not the most normal of people at the best of times, and certainly not at the back of an end of a lengthy drinking session. But lucky for me, she stuck around and we sat at a table outside and chatted all night. At the end of the night we parted ways, but in the morning, even though my memory was hazy, I knew I had to meet her again. So we met up a few times again, and eventually I found myself back at her place. The ghetto, she called it. And to hang out and have a few drinks, nothing major. And the next thing I know, I awoke. Definitely on the couch, Liam. To my mobile ringing, and it was my friend from Vancouver who was staying with us, saying that our crocodile tour bus was at our apartment block to pick us up. I told him to hold the bus up and say that I was on my way down from our apartment, and as this was going on, I had gathered up my clothes and shoes and was now running barefoot through the city and jumped into the first taxi I saw and told him to step on it. On our short 5-minute journey, there wasn't much conversation between myself and Mohammed Abdullah. But then all of a sudden this phone started to ring and ring and ring. And seeing as it wasn't my ringtone, I then broke the silence and said, "Are you going to answer that?" To which Mo replied, "Not my phone." Strange. I was like... I then looked at my shoes on my lap and realised the ringing was coming from inside them, and proceeded to tip them up, and out pops this pink phone. It was a pink phone, Mum, yeah, it was. Which I then answer, only to be shouted at by an angry Irish girl saying, "Who steals a person's phone?" Clearly, ladies and gentlemen, I hadn't made a great impression at this point, as Grace's immediate assumption had been that I was nothing more than a thieving English rogue. I was then ordered to turn it off and return it at the end of the day of the tour. So I obediently followed her orders, and I really am so glad I did. If it wasn't for that pink phone, perhaps none of this would have happened. So could you all join me and be upstanding and raise your glasses to my beautiful wife and the love of my life, Grace. I went too bad.
Love it, buddy. Love it.
Maybe go 3 times.
Here, come here.
Well, that's me about done. I was thinking about thanking my best man, but I might just wait until I've heard the absolute distortion of the truth he is about to unleash. He has a very imaginative mind and shouldn't be trusted or taken seriously. But against my better judgment, I will thank him. Thank you for organising a very degrading stag do for me and making sure that A, I possibly shouldn't fly out of Southampton Airport ever again. B, I can't show my face around Killarney ever again. And C, that everyone on that Aer Lingus flight hated my guts and saw what came out of them also. In all honesty, I've known Ross a long time now, and he has been a true friend. He's always there when you needed him, Mr. Reliable. We shared some amazing memories, and so far he has never let me down. So please, for the love of God and in the name of all things holy, don't let me down now, brother. So here he is, ladies and gents, the never a letdown best man, Mr. Ross Taylor.